In recent conversations with retirees or people about to retire, I'm finding more and more people have no plan for when it comes to replacing their vehicles during retirement. I retired at 55, and the way I see it, I have at least 30 good years where I'm going to need solid, reliable vehicles, and there's going to be some payment for cars. So, today I want to talk about the fact that if you don't have a plan, it could be a huge hit to your investments, or it could really have some tax implications if you're not ready. I'm also going to go over three critical questions you need to ask yourself for the future plan that you make. And I'll fill you in on the exact plan my wife and I are making for our retirement. So, the three critical questions are simple. How much driving do you plan on doing in retirement? Number two, do you anticipate purchasing a new car, slightly used, or something years or older? And three, how will you be paying for your cars? Will you be paying cash, financing, leasing, and so forth? But before we actually get into those questions, I want to find out where you are. Okay, so I've created four categories. The first category, we'll call it category A, is your retirement plan already accounts for a monthly line item for purchasing a new car, so essentially a car payment, and it increases at least 2.5% annually. So if you've done that, you are already ahead of the game. So you're in really good shape because you're taking it as your monthly income and it's already accounted for. Category B is maybe you're using a planning software like Bolden or Right Capital. And a lot of times they have you enter large purchases like a new car as a one time purchase. So maybe you did that, or maybe even better, you did it 3 or 4 times. If you did that again, you're in good shape, but stick around because I still think there's some things you can learn. Category C, now this is one is you don't have a new vehicle plan for your retirement plan, and many people don't because they did the right thing. They paid off their car before they went into retirement. Therefore, as you think about monthly bills and expenses, you're not thinking about a car payment. So that's okay, we can fix that easily. And then D, unfortunately, category D is the most common, but it's you simply just don't have a plan. You have nothing figured out, and you figured I'll just deal with it when my car goes kaput. I'll just deal with it at that time. And if that's the case, you definitely need to keep watching this video. So, why is it so important we think about these things? Well, I'll give you one good example. In 2006, if you bought a top trim Toyota Highlander, you would have paid about $32,000. In 2026, a top trim Toyota Highlander, obviously there's different options, but something fully loaded, just like the first one, is going to cost you $54,000. That's a difference of $22,000 more. So if you think about it, that's $1,000 more a year. So even as I start thinking about future car purchases, I think in today's prices, which is completely wrong. That's why you need to put something on paper. Other key considerations to think about as you're making your plan is the plan that I'm going to show you that my wife Michelle and I created. That's for a couple with two cars. On average, people typically also drive to about 85 years old. However, with self driving cars, that may be a little bit different in the future. So, just something to consider. Also, AI suggests annual inflations at 2.5% for vehicles, but keep in mind car insurance is going up more than double. Right now, it's at 5.4%. The other consideration is your go go years are going to be filled with more driving adventures than your slow go years. I consider the go go years from 55 to 75. So, for that 20-year span, your plan's going to look a little bit different, and you'll be able to see that in the plan I show you that Michelle and I created. And then the last thing to consider is we all have different budgets, regardless if you have a lot of money saved, whether or not you have a large monthly income that can handle a car payment or not, there is a plan for you. So let's get started with our current situation. Behind me is Michelle's car. It's a 2022 Kia Sorento, 45,000 miles. I own a 2010 Toyota Highlander. I work part-time, local travel. So let's get to our critical questions before I get into the plan. The first one is, how much driving do you plan on doing in retirement? It's important that you estimate your annual mileage because that'll really depend on what kind of car you need. Are you going to be driving only local places? Will you be doing possible side gigs for extra money? Do you plan on taking road trips? And if so, how many do you plan on taking? Because road trips, they require a newer, more dependable vehicle. The one thing I will say is most couples typically will have one car that they put the most miles on because it's the most reliable, and that's the one they take on road trips. Also, ask yourself at what mileage or what age do you think a car no longer is going to be safe or fit your needs? For me, it's typically anything over 200,000 miles or anything over 20 years old. But for you, it could be a little bit different. But at that time, for me, it's probably time to get a new vehicle. So, for critical question one, with Michelle and I, when we made our plan, we figured we put about 12,000 miles a year on the Sorrento. Even though she works from home, she does have some business trips that she drives to, and we also have road trips we'll be going on. For the Highlander, I have a local part-time job. I'm figuring around 8,000 miles a year. That's a pretty high conservative number, but I'd rather estimate too high than too low. The second critical question is, do you anticipate purchasing a new car, a slightly used car, or a car that's 5 years or older? Now, new car, that is the most expensive option, but it's also going to be your most reliable option. When you buy slightly used, you get a good deal because someone else took the hit of depreciation. So you still have peace of mind, but you have to remember you may now be looking at some higher financing if you plan to finance that car. And then a used car 5 years or older, it's obviously the best value for you. It's going to take the least amount of hit on your pocketbook, but it is something that you'll have to upgrade a little bit sooner, more likely than not. It requires that you have a really good, honest, trustworthy mechanic. That is super important when you buy an older car. And you have to remember anything 5 years or older, you're not going to get a powertrain warranty. So if something happens with the engine or the transmission, you're looking at a $7,000 bill minimum. So what's our plan? Well, Michelle and I plan to rotate cars. We plan to buy new and rotate cars every 7 to 8 years. Having this plan lets us pounce on new car incentives instead of having to buy suddenly when the car goes out. And I'm really excited about that because it gives me a lot of time to look for the best deal. You could adapt this plan to be every 2 to 3 years if you have a ton of money and it's really not something you're worried about. Every 5 years, and even every 10 years if you don't plan on doing that much driving and you have a good mechanic and you're comfortable keeping your cars a little longer. Question three is, how will you be paying for your cars? Will you be paying cash, financing, or leasing? Dave Ramsey always recommends that you pay cash for your cars. And I firmly do believe that. But when paying cash, you just have to remember when you're in retirement, you have to be very careful of where those tax thresholds are. Especially if you're using pre-tax accounts to pull money for your vehicle. So be mindful of that. You don't want to trigger IRMA surcharges or you don't want higher taxes on your Social Security. So work with your tax professional if you plan on making the cash purchase and purchasing out of those type of accounts. Now, financing a new car can be attractive, especially if you're looking at something under 3%. Michelle and I like to stay under 2%, but anything between 2-3% could be a really good deal for you in retirement. And I'll get to that later. Leasing can also be attractive if you want a luxury car and you know you'll be driving a very little bit, less than 10,000 miles a year, and you're pretty certain of that. The only problem with leasing is you get no equity. So you got to understand that as you get rid of that car, you won't have anything to trade in or sell. But also with leases, it's typically a pretty good sized down payment that's required prior when you first sign up for the lease. And in leasing, the car dealers don't have to disclose what interest rate they're charging you. So you could be paying a lot more for that car than you really realize. But if you don't like the hassle of having to trade a car in or sell it or whatever down the road, leasing may be a very good option, especially if you like those high-priced luxury cars. Now, Michelle and I, we plan to purchase our new vehicles with cash, and we plan on taking it out of our pre-tax IRA. So we're going to take a look at where our thresholds are. And so we don't go over those thresholds, we will use our taxable brokerage account or even our cash to pay the difference. Now that's unless we can get 0% financing, maybe 0.9, 1.9, or even maybe 2.9. So that's one thing we will definitely be on the lookout for. So now I'm going to put up the plan that we have. So currently I have a 2010 Highlander with 172,000 miles. The car behind me, the Sorrento, has 45. In 4 years, 2030, we're going to be ready. By that time, I'll sell or trade the Highlander because it'll have over 200,000 miles. We'll keep the Sorrento. By then, it should have a new engine in it, still be under 100,000 miles. And the plan is we're going to purchase a new RX 350, a Lexus RX 350, hopefully for around $60,000 in cash. And again, that would be after trading in the Highlander. And these Highlanders really do hold their value, believe it or not. So that's our plan, unless, and we won't pay cash if we could get under 2% APR for sure. And the reason for that is I'd rather let our money work in our taxable brokerage account or our IRA and only pay 2%. I'd rather do that than actually just pay everything off in cash. It just makes more sense because if I can earn 8%, I'm still 6% ahead. So then in 2037, all right, so this is approximately 10 years later, we're looking at trading in the 2022 Sorrento. By that time, it'll have 150,000 miles on it. The Lexus RX 350 should still be running strong and be like a new car with less than 84,000 miles. And we're going to step down a little bit. We just had that Lexus, that luxury car. At that age, 67, we're fine with stepping down. Buick Envisions are really nice cars. They cost currently they cost at least $10,000 less than the Lexus. So we're really comfortable with doing something like that. So same size SUV, only stepping down a little bit in class to save a little money at that time. And then in 2045, we're going to keep that Lexus. That thing's going to run 200,000 miles easily. For Ron, it's a great car. I'll be driving under 5,000 miles a year at that time for sure. So that's age 75. We'll keep the Lexus. We're going to sell that Envision, even though it's only 8 years old. We'll sell it under 80,000 miles. And then we'll purchase again. We're going to step down again, purchase something like a Toyota Camry type sedan. Hopefully at that time it's self-driving. We'll see. But with the trade-in of the Envision, we're hoping to get that for around $40,000. And then finally, by age 85, that Camry should still be great because we've put so little miles on it. And if the Lexus dies by 85, I think being down to one car makes sense. So that's what we'll do. So that's our plan. What I want to make sure you understand is with that plan, we're looking at about $160,000 coming out of our accounts. That would be about $5,500 per year. So looking at like 0% interest, that's a car payment of about $450 a month until we're 85 to have solid, new, reliable cars, or like new, reliable cars. I think that's really good if you look at it down the road. Now, the one thing I want to point out is this is just a plan, okay? I have a video called Why Good Retirements Often Go Wrong. And there's a possibility we won't be able to afford some of this stuff. And if that's the case, oh, and I'll link that video, so make sure you check that video out if you haven't done so. But if that's that case, I see nothing wrong with buying cars that are 5 years or older. But I have some tips. Ron, the car guy, oh, and by the way, if you didn't know the definition of car guy, it is a regular guy, only cooler. So, but Ron, the car guy, has some tips. If you are buying older cars, make sure you get a pre-purchase inspection. Try to make sure you have a good, honest mechanic that's reliable, and don't trust what you see online. As you're at parties and you visit with people, ask word of mouth. Where do you take your cars? Do you find that they're honest? Do you find they're reliable? Do they always fix the problem first try? Ask those kind of questions because that's pivotal in any kind of car plan, regardless of your age. And the last thing is, let's say you purchase cars. I purchased this Toyota Highlander for $9,000. And the honest truth is I would probably take it anywhere on a road trip. Okay, but if you weren't comfortable taking a car with well over 150,000 miles on a road trip, you could always rent cars for your road trips. It may be a few $100, $300, $400, depending on the size car you rent. But for peace of mind, it makes a lot of sense. And it's still, in the long run, will save you money down the road. It'll be cheaper than buying airline tickets. And sometimes it just makes sense. So those are my tips. The other thing is just remember, as you get older, reliability and comfort matter more than anything else. So that should always be your main goal. So here's my question that I'd like you to drop a comment. What's your long-term car plan for retirement? Leave a comment so all the viewers can learn from each other. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. So it's 100% free. And until next time, my friends, class dismissed.